Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 56. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm schlumped.
Yeah, is that your name?
Yeah.
I guess they can read it if they're a watcher. So, but for the listeners,
it's not my
Zack
name. I'm schlumped.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes, you are slumped. But this is the podcast where we talk about TV and film topics from the last week and give them to you all this week. And this week we got a few trailers to go over with you and a few other important topics to us.
As usual.
Yeah. As usual.
A couple of them. The Watchers trailer by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. The full one came out, so we got a little bit more of an idea of what that one's going on about.
Yep.
Then Blink Twice, which is an interesting movie.
Something I didn't expect. Right.
By Zoë Kravitz, with Channing Tatum. Very
Aren't
interesting.
They a couple?
Are they?
Are they? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm imagining things.
I don't really care. I don't. Anyways, we have got a hypothetical about James Bond. Also, Aaron Sorkin says he wants to make a kind of sequel to The Social Network. Which we'll get into. And then also Vision Quest is apparently still happening. But first, we're going to talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that came out this Monday. Very interesting that this got released on Ryan Reynolds' Instagram and YouTube
and his own
channel.
YouTube channel, right?
And it's got like at least when I saw it, it had like 27 million views. And I don't know if
that's
it's
more than the MCU's official account, which is hilarious.
Is it?
I mean, last time I checked the MCU one, it was like at 11 million. So
wow,
Well,
I think the first Deadpool and Wolverine trailer is the most viewed trailer of all time at this point. By the way,
right, because of the Super Bowl numbers, right.
But I mean, just in still crazy.
Still very crazy.
So we finally got kind of more of the story going on, and we finally got our first real look at Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine.
A lot of details in this trailer, for sure.
A lot of details. This is going to sound negative, but I'm still very excited about this movie. This trailer did not excite me as much as the last trailer, if that makes any sense.
I think when you look closer at it, they are showing us two parts, two very small parts of this movie. It feels like, and to me, I'm really excited because they're showing us so little, but giving us details at a time that are important for this movie. So they're not showing us too much, and I think there's so much more we don't even realize what's coming or don't even know what will happen, and that's a great trailer for me. I'm happy with this trailer for sure.
I agree. Yeah. I'm not disappointed. I'm not looking forward because I am. I think I just felt a little, I don't know. I just wasn't as excited. And maybe it's just there was the anticipation, building up to it coming out the first time. I think it was more Deadpool centric. And then the Wolverine stuff is like I love Hugh Jackman, but it was kind of a bit more sad, which makes sense because the first trailer was kind of showing Deadpool's headspace. And now this one's kind of showing the Wolverine headspace.
Right. But I really love how this trailer starts off because you have the classic Wolverine in the bar, just getting drunk on
Canadian bar.
Right. But what's amazing right off the bat is that the bartender's yo, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Get the hell out of my bar. And immediately, that's interesting. Why would Wolverine be being treated like this? But throughout the trailer, you keep getting these lines I think the Tom Wozniak, the actor who plays him, his name is Paradox, it seems like.
Yeah.
And so he's what did he say? He says Wolverine let down his entire world. Deadpool yells, Yeah, like well, hold on. I said blah blah blah.
Wow, he said all of that.
Yeah, he said blah 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 blah.
Oh wow.
And then
dramatic.
he says, "Is that what you said when your world went to shit?" And
he said
so,
blah 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 when his world went to shit. And somebody said, "Is that what you said when the world went to shit?"
Yeah. I'm sure we're really confusing the listeners right now.
What did Wolverine yell?
No, I said Deadpool yelled this.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said Wolverine.
No. But yeah, you keep getting this theme that like Wolverine has, basically failed in that universe that he's from. And I don't know if it means that like he's like if the anchor theory is true and like he's the anchor of that world and like now he's left it and that like that his whole universe is gone, or like if it's more simple than that, like he just failed to save everyone and now his world is like in a bad state,
It might be that. It might be what I've been seeing some people talk about, which is like this might be the same Wolverine from Logan before Logan, and somehow this is the event that caused all the like mutants to like be killed off, and then it left the world in like a worse place. Right, but like there was something that happened. Like we don't know exactly. We know something like it was with Charles, but like we don't know exactly everything that happened. So maybe like Wolverine could have done something and he didn't.
I mean, everything I've been hearing before this trailer came out is that this Wolverine is not a Wolverine like we've seen before.
It might not be
a different one.
It might not be, and
Right.
It might be that like I'm gonna guess that it's not that the entire world is gone, because it seems like people would know who he is and that he did something bad.
True. It does seem like they're living in the world that he's messed up in. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. So he's maybe not the anchor of that universe. Probably not then. Or maybe because I mean at that point an anchor is like supposed to keep like the universe together and he's kind of failed, right?
Right. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because either Cassandra Nova, who like obviously is confirmed now as gonna be at least a villain
of the movie, right?
Seemingly. She seems like she's hanging out in like Ant-Man's huge head in the void.
Right. We got a ton of details on her. Like you said, she's in the void because you see Eliath like twice in this trailer.
Right.
And who's like the big dragon at the end of the void. And then
Cloud monster.
Cloud dragon, right, whatever you want to call it. And then you get that she's living inside of Ant-Man's helmet / skull, which is wild. I want to know the story, how he died as a giant in the void.
I don't think we're gonna get it. I think it's just gonna be like,
I don't think we're gonna get like the whole story, but I think we'll like there's gonna be a line about like how this came to be in the void, I don't think they're just gonna be like, it's there,
Honestly, super creative way to make a lair, the mask opens up.
To me, I got like vibes that like they maybe were inspired by like the Nowhere head, like that people were living in nowhere. And this is another giant head they could use,
Much smaller head.
Sure, a lot smaller. Sure, but still pretty massive for somebody to be living in it. So
sure.
Yeah.
It's like a single family home, sort of almost.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you get some good action with her and Wolverine where she just effortlessly is right, just moving them around. And then I think what's less clear, but I think is kind of confirmed, is that she's able to open like portals. Because when they're jumping into the portal at the end of the trailer, she's standing right behind them. Like she's basically like looking at them like jump with her arms crossed, So
maybe.
And from what I've heard online is that she has those abilities in the comics to like do that kind of shit. So
maybe
I think it's possible. Like I think people are expecting like a Doctor Strange type character to be doing it, but
it looks like a Doctor Strange like sling ring.
Sure. Right. But maybe something else can make those kind of rings. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe she stole one of the slings.
Maybe. Or maybe she ends up being like a helpful part to them.
That's what I kind of get the feeling is like she's helping them at the end, right? And so maybe they come to a sense of agreement and is like, okay, I'll help you, you know?
Something gives me the feeling that she is not the villain, and I'm going to double down on the fact that I think Tom Wamsgam is the villain of this movie.
You think Paradox is the villain? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, with a name like that, like he could be a villain. You know, like that's a very interesting name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we also get some really great action with Deadpool and Wolverine in this trailer. A lot of really violent stuff, you know, like stabbing him in the groin and shooting him a ton in the ribs. And it's just, I love that. I love the sign of like where like the movie's going. It's going to be a crazy, like gory action fest. It sounds like, you know, you see him like killing a bunch of TVA members and there's a ton of blood in that. And you're like, this is what I want. This is everything I want a Deadpool movie to be at the moment, you know?
Yeah. And I do like the backstory that like he's recruiting him. Deadpool's recruiting Logan because he has experience being this hero. He has this experience saving, like trying to at least save a world where he doesn't have any. Like he's just been kind of like a mercenary. And so like I like that idea. I want, like he does say in the trailer, which who knows if he actually sees the future, and it's like, you know, one day you're gonna hang up the claws and a lot of people are gonna be sad.
Right.
I don't know if that was just a voiceover thing for the trailer or not, but it might be in the movie.
That was at the end. I thought that was at the end of Deadpool 2, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that those lines are at the end of Deadpool 2.
I don't think so. We're at the end of Deadpool 2.
The end credits scene. Like there's a scene in that, you know, like that basically that montage where he's time traveling around fixing things.
Right.
And he goes to, you know, the Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine and shoots himself. And like I remember that scene. I'm pretty sure those lines are in there.
I think he's like, "You're welcome."
We'll confirm it. We'll confirm after the trailer. And
I feel like this is new dialogue because Logan came after Deadpool. No. Actually, Deadpool 2 came after Logan. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
I guess we don't know at the moment, but you can yell this in the comments who's right. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think this trailer showed off a lot of cool stuff. Not a lot of cameos, which is nice. You get to keep that as a surprise. And
I did see that Rob Liefeld, who's the creator of Deadpool, say that there's going to be the best action scenes since Winter Soldier. Which do you think that the best action sequence in the MCU is in Winter Soldier?
Probably not, to be honest.
What would you say the best one for you is?
Maybe Endgame, like with Steve and Thor and like beating up on Thanos. Like that's a pretty iconic one for me. I also like recent memory is like the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 tunnel scene was great. Like I love that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones in the MCU. I mean, it's not like a ton, but definitely has been better since Winter Soldier, I would say.
Because I do think that they're talking about the one with when Bucky's facing off against Cap and
in the street
and Natasha in the street. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I think they're talking about too.
Which, like, to be fair, but then you could also say the fucking elevator scene. So
yeah, there's some good ones. There is. Yeah. And then him jumping up onto the jet that comes in front of him and just playing frisbee with the wings, and it's just a lot of good action in that movie. Like he's not wrong. Like it's a great action movie.
He's not wrong.
But yeah, the best since, I think there's other contenders.
It's hard for me to think of any, but maybe there is.
Yeah.
Because I guess I'm thinking about like straight like one-on-one like blow for blow kind of thing.
You know what's a really good? It's quick, but it's a really good one. It's Thanos versus Hulk. Just that they're straight up just like boxing with each other, and like man, Thanos just dogs Hulk. Like he just has his way with him.
Yeah, but I think like it is good, but it's like because it was computer, like it was you know. It was acting, like they did have the motion capture suits, but like there's a lot of, you know, stuff that they
sure.
You know, make happen.
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess I'm just assuming he's thinking of like how a Daredevil hallway scene is, where it's very like well choreographed.
You know, surprisingly too, that reminds me, that Echo first episode scene with Daredevil coming in, like that was a great action sequence.
It was a great it was, but I wouldn't say it's better than anything in Winter Soldier.
I agree. But it's still a good one for the MCU.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm still insanely excited about this. Trailer was great.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they could be jumping to at the end of the trailer. I think they clearly like edited that out. I think in the movie you're gonna be able to see what they're jumping into.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even have any theories for that.
Watch, they're jumping into Endgame.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
They're not going to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even bigger than that, you know?
Bigger than that.
Like, I think
that's the biggest event.
In a sense, like
in a sense.
Look, I'm not saying like what would be more exciting, like us to go back to something in our own timeline that we've seen already, or to like for them to be jumping into like Fantastic Four universe or something, you know, like the originals. Like I'm just saying, like on an excitement of like universes we haven't really been to.
I think to see Elektra.
Yeah, that's the one. But
she'll be in here.
She is going to be in here. She is. It's confirmed. So, but yeah, not everybody from that 20th Century Fox universe is though. So we will see who they're jumping to.
They're jumping into Lou Ferrigno's Hulk.
Totally. Yeah, that I would be shocked if they go that far back. But yeah, I'm down to jump to our next trailer if you want to.
Yeah. Next trailer. Yeah, next trailer is the new movie by Ishana Night Shyamalan, which, if you didn't guess, is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Produced by M. Night Shyamalan.
And I guess I'll say the quick synopsis is: a young artist gets stranded in an extensive, immaculate forest in Western Ireland, where after finding shelter, she becomes trapped alongside three strangers stalked by mysterious creatures each night. And we saw the teaser for this a couple months ago, but now we
this one goes into a lot more detail as well.
Which so I guess I'll say this Dakota Fanning, she's going through some sort of breakup or something's happening. She's taking this trip, I guess, to Ireland. She's dressing up as different people, maybe hooking up with guys at a bar. And then do we know why she got this bird that's like, probably going to be important somehow.
Yeah, she just decides to go on a little road trip.
Goes on a road trip, ends up in the forest, and
it seems like she passes out like when her technology starts to like mess up. Yeah, and then like she immediately wakes up in the middle of the forest where there's no roads, and it's just her and her car and the bird. And and then she gets out of the car and looks back around to see if the car's still there. It's gone.
Right.
And then this old woman opened this door down the way, and she's like, "You got 5 seconds and I'm sealing this thing." And so she runs because she hears these like crazy monster sounds, and it's insanely creepy forest. And the whole intro is really interesting, like I'm really vibing with it.
Yeah. And then I guess they're in this, they see the two-way, like they see it as this two-way mirror as a as the mirror side, and then apparently they're being watched on the other side.
I think the effect is only at night though, because they seem to be able to see outside during the day, you know?
Right. By aliens, maybe?
I don't know. I think it's like
some sort of Irish like Celtic creature,
human hybrid or something. Like they feel partly human. I think it was like at the end of the teaser last time, like they showed like a hand. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, no, I saw. Yeah, I saw.
Right,
it was like it was a hand coming towards, but like the thumb was like, it might have just been me, but the thumb seemed like another finger.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like a human hand, but like human-esque, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I have no idea what these creatures are going to be. No. I think it will be a cool twist. Like, I think that like she'll probably take some inspiration from her dad. Because there is somewhat of a mystery here, you know?
Oh, yeah. And like whoever that woman is, that's like, you have 5 seconds. Part of me is like, she did that because she's like, I don't have time for explaining why this person needs to come here. I'm giving them an ultimatum because I want to help them, but also
I get different vibes.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Or because she seems to know an awful lot about how these creatures work, that she is in some part like making sure that these people are like, she's in on it somehow. Definitely it feels like, and I don't
that's
know.
What I'm getting, right? Like she's a master manipulator, you know?
Yeah.
And like there was that one point where like she blocked the door in the trailer and she's like, they're playing tricks on you, it's not your husband. But then you see her actual husband outside and then he gets captured. So you're like, how, like, is she manipulating us, you know?
Right. And it's like, can these things be like shapeshift, you know? Like maybe she's telling the truth, you know? Like there is like a fine line that I'm like, you know,
sure,
I can see it both ways, but also I hope somebody asks, how do you know so much?
But if I feel like it's also maybe implied that like because of her age, she's just been there a very long time.
Right.
So that could just be the possibility, and that there's no like twist with her. But like if they are shape-shifting like beings, she could easily be one of those beings, you know?
Sure.
So just kind of like keeping watch and control over these people.
Right.
So it's
I hope
it's a lot.
I hope that there is some like genuinely cool, interesting reason why they're doing what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Other than like, I don't want it to be they
just enjoy it.
They just enjoy it and they're creepy and, you know, because I think I'd be like,
oh, well, I already kind of figured that out.
Okay. Right. Like, I hope there's like, but I
totally agree.
I don't want it to be, I don't know. I guess I just want there to be like a narrative reason why like it all ties together. Like I want there to be some plot reason that whatever Dakota Fanning's character is going through, by the end of this movie, this whole thing, like process or the whole whatever is going on is somehow like adding to her arc as a character.
My bet is that the ending of the movie, she's gonna release the bird, like that she has, because like it's some metaphor and like, you know, the bird's trapped like she was, and
something like that. Yeah.
I think I'm not sure what the like her arc will be besides that. Because we don't know a whole lot about her. We just know that she likes having a good time and partying and and that she's an artist. So I don't know. I definitely want to know more about her, but I'm kind of down that for the fact that they've like kept it kind of hidden, you know, in these trailers. So just more for us to find out in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another good trailer.
Yeah, I'm excited. It looks good.
Yeah. I think the trailers look so good. I want to watch this, but like, man, I could see myself being freaked watching this movie for sure.
Right.
So it looks like a freaky one. Yeah. Well, our last trailer is also kind of freaky. called Blink Twice, that you mentioned earlier. It's directed by Zoë Kravitz, starring Channing Tatum, in what seems to be the antagonist role, possibly, most likely. But yeah, it basically, this trailer starts off where, what's Channing Tatum's character's name? Do you remember?
It's Slater King, and he's a billionaire.
King. Right,
he's a billionaire.
So it starts off where Slater King is going around this like party he's having, and I feel like he's introducing you to like, it feels like the billionaire mob, you know, like with what's his name? Is it Christian Slater or? Yeah. Who's in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah. He feels, I don't know, his presence in the movie feels very mob-like to me. Like he's got some dark stuff going on. And even though you barely see his friend group throughout this trailer, the beginning is enough for me to feel like this group is like, they're not good people, you know? Like I don't feel it.
Right. Yeah. Like, let's see who you got. You also got Kyle MacLachlan in there for a short little bit. Yep. Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Gina Davis, Christian Slater, Simon Rex, who I've not seen in a minute.
I don't know who that is.
Simon played, let me pull it up real quick. He was in a lot of scary movies. These scary movies.
Mm-hmm.
God, can I pull up any of the more of the other movies? It doesn't want me to pull up any of them. That's okay. Fine.
That's a good amount of movies.
God, I forget what I knew him for, but yeah, he was in a lot of scary movies. Right. And I got the also, I don't know if we mentioned, this is directed by Zoë Kravitz.
Yeah, we mentioned it.
I know we mentioned it earlier, but I mentioned it
right at the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
My bad.
Oh, you're good.
So it starts off with like Channing Tatum being like, well, now that everybody's dead, can we talk about stuff? And, then we start to go through the process of like this, Channing Tatum's this rich guy who invited these two girls to come to his party, his private island. And it definitely gives a big, like, to me, it was this mix between Saltburn and Knives Out, Glass Onion.
Yep, for sure. That's the first vibes I got was Glass Onion.
But like, it's not like Glass Onion was like the first movie to be like, let's go, like there's a mystery or there's like
no, but like there are parallels. You know, like you have the rich guy who has his own island and has a very nice house on it.
Yeah,
and then there's a mystery on top of it.
Right, and something's going wrong, but it's like not like a whodunit. It's more of like
what's going on,
and it's and that's where it gives me like a bit of a Saltburn sort of a which not even like necessarily that, but like. But like even something more sinister, like almost like not the chef, fucking what's that Ray Fiennes movie? You didn't see it.
Probably not.
It came out not too, The Menu, like kind of like The Menu.
Okay. Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I wonder if the other, like his friends, even know what's going on.
I get the feeling they do, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah.
But like something's happening to our main character. She's finding like like somebody's like, where's my knife? And then you see her with like a knife later.
Right. Well, because she bangs on the mirror and it like drops behind her mirror and you're like, yeah. And then like the rest of like, she comes to the island with her friend. And at one point her friend is just gone. She's just gone from the island, and she brings it up to the other women on the island, and they're like, "Who are you talking about?"
Yeah,
which is, I mean, crazy. All her stuff in the room is gone. Yeah, it's like they just erased the memory of her existence. Yeah. So it's some definitely crazy stuff. Maybe some culty, religion-y stuff because you see them like all dancing by the fire in like these robes at one point.
Potentially.
Yeah, like, and he even says like she's like the main character woman is like, oh, I didn't expect the parties to be like what they are. And he's like, well, it's just different, but we still have fun.
Right.
So yeah, I think, like maybe this Slater King guy like was a normal billionaire and then got into some like really weird shit and like is now sacrificing people. I don't know, like something dark is going on here.
Yeah, and I mean it is interesting that they like right off the bat, like the beginning of the trailer, like I said, like it like just straight up throwing, well, everything went wrong. Like we know that it's going to end bad,
right.
but I feel like it's more of like the journey, like we all know where it's going to end.
Sure. I think I was a little disappointed though with that kind of direction,
Well, it makes me feel like there's got to be something else that makes it interesting going on.
Sure. Like yeah, for sure. And if there isn't, then it's just a cheap like movie tactic to get you to want to see it,
Yeah, or it's like somebody made a trailer that gave too much away, but hopefully it's not that.
Yeah, I hope it's not that because it does look very interesting. Like I'd want to see this.
Yeah, I do want to see it too.
Did it have a release date?
It is coming out.
I'm assuming this year.
I don't know. I don't know. It is this year. This summer. It said this summer.
Nice. It feels like a summer movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm down. Nice. All 3 trailers looking good today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I think we should go over to our hypothetical.
Yes.
That Zack made for us this week.
So our hypothetical is if you could make a James Bond story, whatever you want. And I don't know who wants to go first. I can give it to you. I can start off.
I could go first if you want. It's up to you. Yeah.
Go first.
Okay. So mine is like this movie would never get made. Like it's just not going to happen at this point. But it's a cool idea. I'm really into it. I was originally trying to find an idea to give Daniel Craig another movie, and so like I remember when
you just cannot let that man go, Ian.
No, I can't because he's the best James Bond.
He's also dead.
Sure. But before they did the 5th movie, No Time to Die, there was reports that there was going to be a 6th movie that was called On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And so like obviously that never happened because they just ended up writing a final movie for James Bond. But my idea, instead of doing like a 6th, would be, and it's not based on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I was just trying to find something like that. But my idea would be for an alternate kind of timeline where instead of him saving Madeline at the end of Spectre, she ends up dying.
Okay, so basically just doing a
different 5th movie than what we got.
But you know how Casino Royale ends?
Sure. Yes. Doing another Casino Royale. Yes, it is.
Okay.
But that is how he did it, like how Ian Fleming wrote it in his books. Like he had Vesper dying at the end of Casino Royale, and then he also had Blofeld killing Madeline, or not Madeline, but like his other love interest who he married in the books. He had him killing her, and then like James Bond would, kind of what my story is going to is that he would go out for revenge for Blofeld. Right?
Okay.
And so basically, yeah, it's and this one is based off of the book You Only Live Twice. And so that was adapted into a movie with Sean Connery, but they changed a lot of it, and it's not like super faithful to the book. So mine would be a little more faithful. You would see him, like, I think this would be like a 2 to 3 year break, like I guess, or time skip from the last movie, and you would see like James Bond in like a super depressive state, and he would be like kind of drinking a lot and kind of slipping on his on his work, and so, which is how the books go.
So this is just Skyfall Inspector. This is how Skyfall Inspector starts.
I would disagree. Yes, it is. It is similar to Spectre in a sense where I think not Spectre. You're thinking Quantum of Solace, right? Or
no, because like in Skyfall, he gets shot off the bridge. He just drinks all the time. He's at that island.
Yes, but in this one, he's still employed by MI6. He's not like out hiding from MI6. But yes, okay. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically in the book and how I would do it, M gets to the point where like he almost has to dismiss Bond because he's like being such a screw up. But he ends up reassigning him to like the diplomatic section of MI6. And he gets like renumbered to like 7777 instead of 007, which is kind of rough. Yeah. But basically M sends Bond to an assignment in Japan where basically like they need this device that they've built, and in exchange they're gonna like offer Japan like the access into like their like source of information, right? And so like he gets there and they reveal that like they've already penetrated their like source of information, so they don't need what the MI6 is offering them. But they knew James Bond was coming and instead want him to go and kill somebody that is kind of wreaking havoc in Japan.
Okay.
So this person is called, it's his Dr. I can't remember what his first name is, but Dr. Shatterhand is basically his name, which is perfect James Bond name. But yeah, basically this guy has this island, and people are like, a lot of people are coming to his island and like committing suicide. And so I don't know what the mystery there would be, but I like the start of that. And I think there could be a really great mystery there. And then, but like pretty instantly he discovers like Shatterhand is actually Blofeld. And like hiding in Japan in disguise, basically.
As a Japanese man.
They never say that in the books, but that would be wild. Yeah. But yeah, so in the book, like he gets the help from like this Japanese like film star, but I would have it so like the Secret Service of Japan like gives him somebody to like do this mission with. Mm-hmm. So I had like a few actresses in mind, like yeah, it's so you would like one like Rina Sawayama.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good. So, but like I also want this person to be like a love interest to James Bond, right? Uh-huh. So I like she's kind of young for Daniel Craig. I don't know if like that's great. So I mean the other person I have too,
she's 33.
Yeah, but Daniel Craig's like 56. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of an age gap,
Sure, but I guess that.
So the other woman I thought of too was Tao Okamoto. She played Wolverine's love interest in the Wolverine. She's a little older. I also don't know if I'd pick her, but I like somebody who would be like young enough and believable enough in like an action.
Michelle Yeoh.
My other thought was Michelle Yeoh because she's around the same age as Daniel Craig. And she can do action. I just didn't know if it would like be like incredibly believable for her to be like a part of this Japanese Secret Service still, or like I don't know. But like I think I would end up going with Michelle Yeoh because like I want this character to also kind of like want out of their job or like the service to the Secret Service, and so those two would like infiltrate Shatterhand / Blofeld's base. He would like along the way like kind of fall in love with this woman, and she would like help him realize that this revenge route isn't like the right route. But in the end, like he ends up having this like cool as like Japanese duel with Blofeld, and like that like while the house is like kind of falling around them, and after he ends up killing Blofeld, like he would still do it in my story because like he's such a danger to the world. It's not, he just doesn't do it for like the wrong reasons, Mm-hmm. And so, but on the way out, like he gets this like massive head like damage and like kind of doesn't remember who he is. And so Michelle Yeoh's character would then like kind of take this as an out and like basically say that they died in the explosion, and was basically just kind of like keeping Bond to herself and not telling him who he really was. And then like the ending of the movie would like, he would like read his obituary or something in like the news, and he would be like, you know, kind of like realize maybe who he is. And it would be left up to interpretation, like if he lives this happy ending or if he like gets a second chance at life and like goes back, or I guess a third chance at life because of Skyfall. But like, you know, to go back to the MI6 and live out his days there. So,
and this would be after No Time to Die?
No. So No Time to Die in this would not exist. Like,
okay,
basically this is like the alternate timeline where after episode 4, after the fourth movie, Spectre, Madeline dies in that, you know, final scene.
Okay,
and so the events, you know, like No Time to Die would never happen in that sense.
Right. So this would be the fifth movie.
This would be the fifth movie, right?
And then final movie.
And then that would be the final one, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So cool Japanese setting, you know, cool kind of like revenge story that turns into like a little love story. And then you get a little like interpretive ending where you get to decide what Bond goes to, you know? So yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty into it. Yeah. Because like I do like, for me, No Time to Die, even though like it's a decent James Bond movie, I don't like it as much as like at least 3 of the other movies in that franchise. So I would just want a little bit of a stronger finale, I guess.
I think I do like the interpretation ending. Like I do like a good, you know, up to
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like that he was so close to having it, but then he ended up making sure that him and his love interest and his daughter got to live, and then he just made the sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's a good sacrifice. I mean, I think there is like a world where he can live behind a glass box and like, you know, not infect anyone and still see his daughter. But like, it's a good sacrifice, you know?
But they had to bomb. Didn't they have to like bomb the place for a specific reason?
I think just to contain like the disease there.
Yeah.
Know? So I mean, maybe I'm misremembering it, but like, I feel like he had time to get out, but he chose to like sacrifice himself, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, mine is, you know, not as detailed as Ian's, but this one was made with because I kind of just think that this is happening now, like with Aaron Taylor Johnson in the role. And I've said this before, and I don't know if this is the route that they're going to go, because James Bond has always been of the time. Sure. So it's always been moving forward. This would be the first time that it would ever regress. And
there is like newer James Bond books, not by Ian Fleming, but that do like a time period piece. So I think it's possible.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know if they end up doing you know, a time period era Bond. I don't know if that would be I don't know if that would ruin the franchise. You know, like it would only be like James Bond is now only 60s, or if they could, even after Aaron Taylor Johnson, go back to moving forward. I don't know. But I do think, as much as I like Daniel Craig as Bond, he never like, and he's probably my favorite Bond, but he was like his own thing, you know, like he was like modern day spy. He was like, more,
which is so great about that character.
Well, it's cool, but I like the tux. In like, we're in the 60s.
Oh, come on. But okay, sure, but he did have a tux on quite a bit.
No, he did. Yeah. No, but it's like but it was like a modern. I'm just saying, like, I would like the
classic.
I would like it set with like going back to communication is not as readily available. He's, you know, left. I mean, he is left up to himself in a lot of the movies, but like we have the not the veneer, but the milieu of 1960s wherever. I mean, and I would like for him to, I don't want him to be rookie. I don't think. I thought about it and I was like, I don't want him just like starting off as Bond, like he's getting into his first mission, like Casino Royale kind of was. I kind of want like young, which he is, but still like 2 or 3 years into the job.
Okay. That makes sense for that. Like for Aaron Taylor Johnson, you know.
Who?
For Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh.
Who'd you think I said?
I thought you said like Aaron something Johnson, and I was like, not Taylor, and I was like, who? I thought you said like Earl Taylor Johnson. I was like, who's our? Anyways, and it would be kind of cool to see him. Now, I've not seen every James Bond movie, but it would be kind of cool to see him in a place that we've not really seen like a James Bond movie take place before,
like Japan,
like Japan, which was on my mind. I was like, if he was in Asia, and we like, for example, what if we got to see, you know how Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, like he's in the white suit,
different. Right?
But it was in like Asia, and like we could have a whole James Bond, you know, kind of
like
setting
Hong
there
Kong or something. Right?
I think that would be cool. I don't know if that's happened before. I know like in Skyfall there might have been some stuff there, but that was about it. Which, by the way,
James Bond then.
Right? In Skyfall?
I mean, aren't you talking about like after he like kind of disappears? Or is there other stuff that's like set there later in the movie?
Like, don't you remember like there was like one guy and it was a bunch of glass like walls and like this, they're doing a long fight sequence and like there's this huge like projection going on.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I thought that was in Asia. Oh yeah, because he goes there and there's the gators at that like club. So like it's been done a little bit.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, I think it would be cool to do something like that. I think it'd be cool to bring it back to the 1960s, and it needs to be fun. We've had serious Bond. I don't want serious Bond anymore.
Serious Bond is fun.
Serious Bond and sad Bond were fun, but now the time of that is over, and we need to go back to like charm and like fun and like some amount of levity, because like, yes, Daniel Craig had charm, but it was like I'm gonna fuck you charm, which is like a different kind of charm. He had never smiled. He didn't really smile. He just did he just raised his lip, kind of. You know what I mean? Like he never. I would like a bit more. I don't know. That's what
Suave,
I'll say. Yeah. But I have no idea. Story wise, like, I have no idea what the fuck.
Okay. So you just have like the setting and time period.
I'm just like,
right.
This is what I think it should go back to. I don't think it should necessarily have a bunch of like cheesy, gadgets necessarily. But yeah, I think that's what I would like.
Okay. I like it. I would be very up to see a newer James Bond set in the 60s again. Like, I think that is like, they would maybe, like you said, like risk not being able to go back to another time period. But I think the Daniel Craig movie's proven enough that like any James Bond in a modern time can work,
Yeah. And like, who knows, maybe they will make it modern day.
I'd be okay with that too, though.
I'd be okay with it. I just think maybe go back to the 60s. It was a little bit more fun, but that's just me.
Sure. But also I feel like if it is the 60s, like you would want to be having those like cheesy gadgets that you talk about, because that's a part of the fun.
Some of them.
Crazy villains and cheesy gadgets.
Some of them.
Yeah, and crazy villain plots.
I just don't want Moonraker silly.
No, it will never get that silly again. It's not going to happen.
I don't want a gondola speedboat car.
I can't believe there was like an actual space battle in Moonraker. Like it blows my mind. Yeah.
Can you even call that a space battle?
There were lasers. There was a ton of ships. It was a space battle.
So bad.
It was so bad. Yeah. But I think both of our ideas sound better. So props to us.
Most things are better than Moonraker.
Yeah, for sure.
Though the fight scene, a lot of those fight scenes, which were quiet and had no music, the fight scene where he just breaks a bunch of every like show, like every display case in in the fucking museum.
Just classic stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think that's our hypothetical for this week.
Yeah.
But I'd say we talk about some Aaron Sorkin comments news sequel he's making. Basically it's announced that he will be writing it's called a quasi-sequel to The Social Network because this is a quote from him. I blame Facebook for January 6th. I'm going to read a couple more quotes for you. He says, Facebook has been, among other things, turning its algorithm to promote the most divisive material possible because that is what will increase engagement. That is what will get you to what they call inside the hallways of Facebook, the infinite scroll. There's supposed to be constant tension at Facebook between growth and integrity. There isn't. It's just growth. And then he says, if Mark Zuckerberg could wake up tomorrow morning and realize there's nothing you can buy for 120 billion that you can't buy for 119 billion, so how about if you make a little less money? I will tune up integrity and tune down growth. Yes, you can do that by honestly switching a 1 to a 0 and a 0 to a 1. So, he clearly has a lot of animosity towards these social media sites that will promote anything that's popular. And I think it's a very smart sequel to The Social Network because it's not like, I think people were assuming that this is going to be some like story that's solely about the January 6th like riots or, like the storm at the Capitol. But I think it's more about how Facebook turned into this place that will allow anything to be on their social media site and has kind of gotten rid of their integrity. So I'm curious if this will include Jesse Eisenberg again, if it will even be an actual sequel. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Firstly, The Social Network is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really? It's a really good one. I like it a lot.
I used to watch it over and over. And
Sorry, go on.
I used to just like the soundtrack. I was like,
doesn't it have a really great soundtrack?
Yeah, like Hand Over Bruise is one of the most incredible pieces of music I've heard. I would like to see what a Jesse Eisenberg, sequel to this could look like. I think that would be quite interesting.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't have to be. But it would. And here's the thing. I would only want it to be Jesse Eisenberg if they could bring back David Fincher to do it. If this is like just something that Aaron Sorkin's making, it could be whoever, I don't really care. But if they're if they want to do Jesse Eisenberg, I feel like they should bring back David Fincher because David Fincher's one of the reasons why that movie's so great.
Did Aaron Sorkin write the first one, or did he not have any involvement? Okay, he did. Okay,
he wrote the first one.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's what's going to happen.
Feels like it'd be an A24 movie too.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. But yeah, to everything that you're saying, obviously, like there were other platforms and who were leading people down and organizations that were leading people to that. But what he's getting at, which is kind of like a lot of people and I don't think it's just going to be about that one event. I think it's going to be about how we all collectively get fed these different things and how people become so mobilized and engaged and angered and whatever the feeling you might be that gets you to stay on the platform, because it is, like he's saying, is a way to maintain engagement, to get people not only to stay on it, but to engage. And they don't care what it is that's being promoted, and they don't care what it's doing to people or institutions. And it all seems like it's, an experiment and fun and money. But I don't think it's necessarily only going to be about that event. I think that event will be like
maybe the ending of the movie, or
something like
the climax or something.
Like, definitely like a climax. And because that's when people, like a lot of people started to be like, Facebook did a lot to heighten this mood, caused a lot, like there was a lot of like, not a lot of regulation, a lot of people purposefully like talking with Mark Zuckerberg to make sure that certain things get engaged with more. And I think it'll just be like, that's where like Facebook loses credibility. At least for me, I mean, maybe even before that. But I think it's going to be more than just that. I think it's just going to be like the realization of what was going on. And I don't know, but I think it's, I think it's a good idea. I think, it's kind of sad. Like, I don't think that Facebook, like the social network, necessarily like made the company necessarily paint it in a good light necessarily, but it wasn't a bad light either. It was just like this is a thing.
Right, you didn't necessarily hate Mark Zuckerberg by the end of the movie,
No, like you thought like he might be a jerk to like the people who got him there.
But that's just because he was led by somebody who was also a huge dickhead, So
right. So like there was even like a bit of like empathy for the guy.
Right.
And it just, you would never even think in a million years if you just watched that movie and you were around in 2010 that Facebook would, become such an integral part of the political sphere of people's lives, and to like make a sequel to that about this, college kid who just wanted to like make his own thing, make this company, do something that's never been done before, and how it just got to where, everything is now, I think is a really interesting story.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's like, it's where the story would pick up next logically to me. Like there's nothing significant that happens until, like Facebook starts to make a turn, I guess, integrity wise, like he says. So I think I think it'd be pretty cool, and it'd be very cool to see David Fincher and Jesse Eisenberg both back together. So
yeah,
I'm curious though if Jesse Eisenberg will want to, because like I know he says he liked doing Social Network, but like he got incredibly famous after like Social Network, and like so famous like he could barely go anywhere. So I don't know if like that will maybe deter him from like wanting to do another.
I don't think it's gonna make him, well, who knows? I guess it could make him more famous, but I don't know.
Who knows, right?
I don't know. Who knows? I would like it. It doesn't have to be him, but I would like it. And it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's definitely.
I would watch it either way.
Play him.
Right.
Sure.
I would watch it with David Fincher and Jesse Eisenberg, and I'd watch it if somebody else made it.
Yeah. I mean, and Aaron Sorkin always makes a great like script. So.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Good hands. Well, lastly, what we want to talk about here today is the news that Vision Quest, the MCU show, is seemingly back in development. Sorry, I had a little burp there. But yeah, it's seemingly back in development and maybe in production even later this year.
Right.
So yeah, some interesting news considering that Marvel was looking to scale back and maybe focus on the more popular characters. And I think Vision is a popular character. I think maybe they're looking at WandaVision for like numbers wise, like why they would go to that character again. I didn't imagine him to be getting his own show though, even after all this change up,
Right. Yeah. I guess before I say anything, I just want to clarify. this is like partially one person on Twitter was like, this thing is still happening. And then if you go to productionweekly.com, which is a website that kind of shows what is coming up in the future that is going into production, Vision Quest is listed, as well as a lot of other shows and movies that are happening. So I just want to make that clear. And to what Ian's saying, I feel like, yes, if there was a show, like if there was a project that was going to be cut, this could be one of them. But I felt like because it's Paul Bettany, because he's almost an OG Avenger, and because like the success of WandaVision, no, he's not like somebody who you see dressed up a lot as but he is like a big character. He's been in a lot of the movies. He has like, people know him at this point.
Yeah.
So I think like it makes sense. I was maybe a little surprised because I was like, maybe they're not going to go that way. Vision Quest is kind of a cheesy name, not going to lie.
But I love it. I love the logo they originally presented for it. Like, I think it's a cool idea, and like this new Vision needing to find himself is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I would have adapted it, like just done a much shorter version of that story and put it into another property. You know, I wouldn't have maybe delegated it to a whole TV series.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of the TV show. Like, I do like this idea.
Yeah.
I think what bums me out is I thought that, you know, WandaVision came out in 2021.
Yeah, like January, right?
And we're probably not going to get this show until
like maybe summer 2025.
Maybe
at the earliest, right? Like
maybe. So I think what bums me out is I thought we would get to find out before something like Secret Wars or, you know, the next Avengers movie, but like it might even be after that. Who knows?
Wait, when's the next Avengers movie coming out? That's not until 2026, I thought, right?
Maybe. I mean, you might be right. It might be before then, but I just like the fact that
better
like
be.
we're waiting like from WandaVision to finding out what goes on with him. We're waiting like 4 years at least.
Yeah, but there's so many stories like that in the MCU now because they have so many characters. There's just so many more gaps in between, like when the next appearance is. Like, you know, with Captain America 4, like that's going to be basically a 4-year gap from Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, you can't do that in the MCU at this point. People's interests just fall off.
Yeah.
And I mean, and people's interest in the MCU is already low. So,
which like, look, at least they're getting to it, you know, like
sure.
Hopefully with everything that's being changed, like they won't be bouncing around as much because like, you know, as soon as like Disney Plus and all the shows started happening, it was like this new character and this new story and this new character and this new story. And we were like, whoa, what's going on with all the people we already had, you know?
Right. Yeah. Would be nice to know.
But, you know, I do like the idea of the show. Do I might be in the minority here. And this doesn't really matter. I just wish that I hope he doesn't stay as White Vision because I know like character wise, like it signifies a change and I like changes, but like I feel like this, like the look is a little weird.
It is worse than the original, but I still think it's a cool look. Like I like the blue eyes. I like, you know, mostly white. I think I don't know. I do want to keep the change like you were saying because it does signify something important. You know, he's not just the same Vision anymore.
Right.
He's a new Vision with the old memories of the old Vision. So yeah, I'm curious if I'm very curious if he'll remember anything from WandaVision, like because he wasn't really him there. He was,
but it seems like he has the memories.
Sure, I think up until he dies, he'll have those memories, but I don't know if he'll have the memories of his kids or of Wanda in what was that town called? Do you remember? I don't remember. I felt like it was like we used to be able to say it right off the tip of our tongues, but
something Ville, I feel like.
Right. But yeah, I don't think he'll have any memories of that time period. Logically, he shouldn't, because he wasn't the real Vision there.
Westview.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as catchy as I thought it was.
Westview, New Jersey.
Okay. But yeah, and I have heard, interestingly, like even if he doesn't remember his like the kids he had with Wanda, like maybe Vivian and I can't remember the boy's name, but he has a son and daughter that like look like Vision in the comics. And I've heard that like those characters will possibly make an appearance in the show. I have no idea how they even get to that point where he has like actual kids.
Yeah.
Like to me, there has to be some like multiverse stuff involved at that point. Or Wanda comes back at that point and does some crazy shit.
Right.
But yeah, I think logically I would want Wanda to be involved some way in this new show. Like maybe she comes in like at the very end of the season and like was like, "Hey, I'm back, I'm good again," or something. I don't know. Like, because like we can't have her being bad still, right?
I don't know. I mean, the only thing, I'm not writing it, so I don't know, but part of me feels like it's like the basic idea is like he's on a journey of self-discovery, it's like, is there going to be action? I don't know. Maybe he's just going to like, hey, I'm into painting now. I didn't know that about myself before.
I do think,
which like it's not going to be that.
Yeah.
But
I think there will be a scene of some sorts where he's like, he realizes that like he needs and should be helping people. Like, like he knows he has these abilities and like maybe he stops some like disaster from happening in a town or something, like maybe it's not like against a villain, but it's like helping the everyday people out. And like he learns to like love being a superhero like Vision was,
He starts living in a small town, helping the community.
I don't know about all that, but maybe something like that. Yeah.
Forms the West Coast Avengers.
Hey, I mean that's cool. I'll take that.
Could be cool.
I always like West Coast Avengers. That's a neat idea. So I doubt it'll happen, but
there was a community post by like Comics Explained that was like a West Coast Avengers, and it like broke down the story, and it was the most ridiculous shit I've ever read.
Yeah. It was one of like the first comics I ever got as a kid, though.
Really?
It was like I only ever got like one of them, but like it was like an old ass like Avenger, like West Coast Avengers story. I don't remember anything about it, but I was like, yeah, this is it.
I honestly had never heard of it until like maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Oh wow.
I wonder if I can pull it up. There's X-Men. There. No. Is this no Thunderbolts? Nope. West Coast. You wanna hear
sure
some of this?
Yeah.
The marriage of Ultron. But when the maniacal android meets his adamantium mate, will it be a match made in robot heaven? Or will the so-called war toy Alchema with the brain patterns of Mockingbird reject her would-be husband? As the unhappy couple bicker over the fine details of destroying humanity, the West Coast Avengers are caught in the middle, fighting for their lives. Plus, Spider-Man swings by, and he and Spider-Woman become tangled in a death web. The Wackos and Wolverine are embroiled in a cold war with Russian villains, the Bogatyr. Goliath battles Goliath, and as the Pacific overlords wreak havoc, Jim Rhodes returns to the team as War Machine, and the young hero Darkhawk joins the fun.
Wow, that's so much.
Yeah.
So much is happening.
Yeah.
There's so much crazy shit. Like the Pacific overlords, and like you got Ultron and having a love story with something. I don't even know what he's like involved with. Like that being sounds insane.
He's getting married, maybe.
Yeah, and they're bickering over how to kill the world,
Yes.
which is so stupid, but that's fine. Well, yeah, that's an interesting one. That's yeah. I remember the cover I had as a kid, though, like the one I had was like I can't remember like what characters were on this thing, but it was like some giant like villain, and then you had like the West Coast Avengers and maybe like another group like came in and helped them as well. Like it was West Coast Avengers and another group, but that's not. I mean, we're never gonna find that by searching for it. So it would take probably. I mean, it's like one issue out of what, like 100 or something. Like
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea how many West Coast Avengers comics there are.
Yeah,
but no, yeah, that's maybe they don't adapt that storyline. How about or any of those stories? Maybe they just do something
probably
original.
not that one. Probably not that one. Yeah,
I'd be okay with them not doing that. Yeah, but Vision Quest, it's interesting that they're coming back to it. I'm up to seeing a story with Paul Bettany and Vision. I just wish they would actually condense their lineup like they said they would.
Right?
Yeah,
which they kind of are. Like, but anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the end of our topics. I don't know if you were able to watch anything this past week.
Yes, I, alongside rewatching The Last of Us, which has been fun. I finished the Shogun. Finished.
Yep. I saw that. I have not seen any episodes. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, you're really missing out.
Yeah.
And it's definitely got to be like one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Nice. That's what I've been hearing.
The ending, I'm still a little conflicted about, but overall, I thought the ending was done really well. It was just a lot different than what I thought it was going to be. Okay. So it's a lot more quiet than I thought we were going to get to like an action set piece, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Right.
But it was very good.
Was it more like how Game of Thrones used to do it, where they would have a huge like episode 9 and then like the episode 10 would be a little more tame?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the creators like comments that they had no plans to make a second season.
Yeah.
But like the author who wrote the book that like it's based off of like did more books in that saga. So like you could make a second season based off of one of those.
Right. But I think they're like 100 years in the future still. So like, yeah, from what I understand, like
that's a bummer.
And maybe it's not, and like maybe you could, but the thing is, I feel like just leave it alone. Honestly,
sure. Like you've done a great story in 10 episodes with like an hour each in every episode. Yeah, so that's a solid ass story. It sounds like
I would leave it alone, and the fact is that if you learn about history, like what happens, and also the show at the end kind of like tells you without it happening how the story is gonna go.
Okay,
and it's like, well, we already know how we're gonna get where we're going. Granted, maybe like 1 or 2 plot lines are left open that you're like, I wonder how that happened, but. I don't know. I would just leave it alone.
But for the most part, it's a good conclusion.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Like, I'm not gonna just like put it off. Like, it's gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, I will let you know when I start watching it.
Okay.
That review might be the push to get me started on it tonight. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Is that all you've watched?
Yes.
Cool.
I think so.
Yeah, I think. The only thing I've really watched this past week is like Survivor. I don't know if you've caught up on that or not. No. But some really crazy shit's happening. A lot of, one of the characters just made like a move that I have never really. Sure, I've seen a version of it, but like, man, he screwed up his game. Like for the rest of the show, like I don't see him having a chance of winning. somebody else, like the next episode, I think you're like 2 or 3 episodes behind maybe, but like the last one we just watched, another person made like, one of my favorites made like 2 or 3 mistakes like in one episode, and, ended up going home for it. And so like, definitely a lot of drama, for like more drama than usual between people in these last couple of episodes.
Okay.
So I'm very curious to maybe not curious, but I'm very impatient to talk about it with you when you
maybe
get back to it.
Hopefully I'll get caught up like by next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
But and then I'm not sure if this really counts, but I watched the NFL draft last night. So
no, that does not count.
It doesn't. Okay. But so that's it then. That's all I watched.
Okay.
So, but it's been a little slow week for me watching stuff, but I'll get back on the grind.
The grind.
The grind. But I want to say, as always, thank you for watching and listening. If you want to watch and listen to us in the future, we release on Monday mornings with clips on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. If you want to follow us on our social medias, our Instagram and TikTok links are in the description below. And if you want to support us one more time, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or a subscribe.
Yep. Thank you as always. And until next time.